Hey guys, welcome back to another character impressions video here on Toned In Entertainment. Mortal Kombat 1 has been out for just a few days, but I've already had the opportunity to complete another one of my 100 online match challenges and see if I can go in the positive in ranked matches. Now the first character that I decided to go to war with in MK1 was Mileena.
Good shit.
Brutality.
Now as far as my skill level when it comes to online fighters, for franchises like Street Fighter, I believe I'm above average. When it comes to Mortal Kombat, if I would label myself as average, well that would be a compliment. Now while you are able to see your win-loss ratio in online matches in MK1, the actual data that you can see is not very in-depth, so I can't tell what my percentage of wins and losses are against individual characters, which is very disappointing, so I won't be able to give those numbers. Now why in 2023 NetherRealm hasn't included this data baffles me. Now as far as the cameo characters go, I chose to start out with Goro, but then I quickly switched to Striker, and then when I unlocked Sub-Zero, I went with him for the final stretch. For me, Goro was disappointing, but I did enjoy using both Striker and Sub-Zero. Now while I did have my first two matches and my very last match in this 100 games challenge against Scorpion, he was not the character that I came across the most, because that award goes to both Smoke and Reptile. Now Reptile has some really cool tools at his disposal and a slide grab that is really fast and can catch you off guard quickly, and I think that's why he's a popular choice, at least at launch. And plus he does look pretty freaking cool. However, Smoke, I believe he will be like Ken in Street Fighter 6 as far as being competition. That a high level player will be a headache to play against, but the players who are just picking him because he's a popular choice will be much easier to deal with. Now some of the characters that really gave me a hard time during this challenge were General Shao, who laid an absolute pummeling on me, and Tanya and Ashura, who I had no answers for, at least of this recording. Now as far as Mileena goes, I think she's good, but not as good as in past games. Her Psi game, while she does have an upper and lower Psi attack, I think they're pretty weak when compared to the projectile power of other characters. And my struggles were real in this 100 online challenges, as at one point I found myself at a pitiful 30 wins and 39 losses. But after hunkering down and coming up with a few tricks, I was able to turn the tide and come up with a few mini winning streaks, and at the end of this 100 game challenge, I came out on the positives, but by the narrowest of margins with a 51% win percentage, and for me, that's a huge victory. Now as far as the online connections, I'm pleased to say that for the most part my connections were good, with only a few hiccups along the way, but nothing so bad that I could really blame any of my losses on online connections. This is why I'm glad to see companies put out a beta before the game releases so they can work out the kinks before the game releases, because in the past, MK games at launch haven't always been the most positive of experiences. Now speaking of positives, in my 100 online matches, I only came across one rage quitter, which was a pleasant surprise, and it was only this Havoc player that didn't like playing with Mileena.
Was it good for you?
Quitality.
Now in my opinion, the character balance seems to be pretty good. I'd win games against Johnny Cage or Baraka players and then get absolutely shredded against higher level players. My advice when using Mileena, and again, this is coming from an average player at best, is to play a little bit of a projectile game to keep an opponent in check, but use those teleport kicks if you see an opponent just throwing out moves. However, just be very careful with these moves because they are very punishable, and also, I wouldn't recommend using these moves as wake-up moves against an aggressive opponent, as the startup is slow, and more often than not, I would find myself once again on another side of a pummeling. However, if you come up with a solid strategy for using Mileena online, there's definitely some fun to be had. Now what are your guys' thoughts on Mileena, whether you've used her or played against her here in MK1? Comment down below. Now next up, it's time to chill out, as I'm going to take Sub-Zero into battle for my next 100 online game challenges and hope I can come out in the positive. However, I'm anticipating this being very tough. While Sub has some pretty icy tricks at his disposal, a lot of gamers know how to play against him, so this is going to be a very tough challenge. Alright guys, if you like these MK1 character impression video, there's a playlist link down below in the description where you can find similar videos like this. Now if you like videos like this and all things pop culture, make sure you hit that red subscribe button so you can stay tuned in here to Tone In Entertainment for future videos.
Mileena wins.
Subscribe to the channel. Do it. Go now. Do it now.